Hello guys, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. This is a part 2 of our Blazor WebAssembly blog project. Now this is a news blog, and in the previous video that we had a look on how to create the blog, how to display the blog or the publication and all those stuff. So this time around we're going to talk about how to update it, how to delete it, and many more. Okay, so let's see. Once we move on, maybe the ideas will come and we can modify it to suit our interest. Yes, you know, with blog you don't have to have a portal in it. There's no registration, there's no login, there's no sign up. No, blog is just a general. It displays information to people. That's all. You go there to read. Yeah, maybe you can have a comment section. You can allow viewers to comment. Yes, we're gonna add that as well. And maybe you can add an updated news, maybe top 10 news. You can add it to the project, to make it more interesting. So let's go first, but first of all, let's try to update this. You can see in the previous video we were able to add blog, able to define the categories here. So health, we have health here, but as soon as I click on health, nothing happens here. Lifestyle, nothing happens. Technology too, nothing happens. Okay, so we're going to look about that, and also how do you configure the categories to sync with the number of blogs or the news that we have in the page. Also, we're going to talk about the search, how to perform the search in it. So let's see, with the update, we want to use the same block, this component. We want to use the same for an update. This time around, if we specify an ID as a parameter, if ID is more than or greater than 0, it means we want to update it. So that's what you want to do. Let's go back to our page. First of all, let me close all this. So I'm going to close all these tabs. Alright, sorry, my computer was frozen. That's why. Okay, so don't worry, it is back to live now. Okay, so we go to Solution Explorer, and we have our block here. So that's a component. They displays the add block, and you're going to use to add and update. So we want to specify another one. So if there's no parameter, it means we want to add block, but in case there's parameter, then we want to update it. Okay, so with this block you want to have, then let's pass in an ID. This ID is an integer. Now let's go down here and specify that parameter as an ID. So here, let's close all this. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to specify it as parameter, and public. This is int, this is ID, it is get and set. Maybe we can set this to 0. We can initialize it to 0. Now in here with the handle operation, let's open this here, and instead of setting this here, this to add. Okay, so I want us to change this. It is add or update rather. So add or update. Now let's cut this. Okay, and let's cut this from here. Then you can say if ID is greater than 0, it means you want to update. Let's paste this here. Else, let's paste this. So if ID is greater than 0, it means you want to update. Okay. Else you want to add. Then we have message here. Now they have a result. So maybe we can decide to specify you have a result here, right? So we can decide to cut this, put it here, and we can also put this here. So if initially we set message to now, if ID is greater than 0, then we display this. We want to update it. If not, then we add. So here, this is to update the news block, and here is to add new news block. Yeah. Okay. So let's go there, make an amendment here. Let's copy this. Let's go to the iService. That's the interface. So we go to the client projects and the service folder. We have news. So now iNews, save it. So you change this to add or update. Let's go to the new service and I'll change this to add or update. Let's go to the controller with the project, server project, news controller, and instead of add or delete, add or update, let's go to the repo. So that's the iNews repo. So add or update, and the same thing applies to the implementation. Yeah, we save that. Okay, so when you come here, you can see it is done now. It's going to be fixed. So we are adding. Now let's see. So initially, when parameter change, you need to perform a parameterize. So let's check if when the parameter set. So now we're going to use one of the page lifecycle method, and let's do that here. Let's do it under this. So you can close this cap. Okay, so override. Then here you want to use unparameterized set async. So when parameter set, this is going to happen. Okay, so we want to grab. Now if you check here, we have news model here. So we're going to use that model. So let's set this model is equal to, let's set await, then new service dot, let's say get news, and here we're going to use the ID. Okay, so here too we want to check first if ID is greater than 0. That's when we perform this. So this is going to be run when ID is greater than 0. Let's save this. Now this get news we're going to use by ID. So let's copy this. Now here must be an async. Save this. Let's go to the iNews repo, and now here it's going to be a task of what news, and it is get news. So int ID, very simple thing. Save this, new service. Let's control plus period. Let's implement interface. Then in here you want to, let's grab this and let's paste this here. So get async news, then you pass in the ID. There's the ID. In order to turn that as a variable, let's specify this symbol. Then here it is not list, it is rather news. Okay, so very simple thing that we want to do. So we are getting HTTP client, going to return news here. So let's see what will happen. Now let's set this as an async. Yeah, let's go to the controller. So we come to the controller from this news controller, and let's grab this get. Let's paste this here. It's the same get, but this time around you want to specify a route, and this we need an ID whereby it is also integer. Then it is not list, it is just this. Yeah, and this is get news. We specify int ID to return okay. That is there. So maybe this is what we want to do. We can do first. You can check here if ID is greater than 0, then return okay. Alright, so return okay, or yeah, return okay. Then we can specify if ID is greater than 0, so else okay. This is what you want to do, or you can decide to take off this else. Then you can write return bad request. Very simple. Now in here you can specify if, so let's see first, so var results is equal to await. Then you can talk about I news repo. So this news repo is going to be news repo dot get news by ID. Then you can say if results, so if results is not equal to success, okay, then you want to return not found. Then we can talk about results dot display the message. Okay, else return okay results. Very simple thing. So Control K and D, let's format this. Now this is what you're doing. Now we're going to create a method whereby you're going to set the success to true. That's when data is found. If data is not found, it means you want to return not found, then display the message here. If it is found, then display okay, return okay, and the result. So get news, let's copy this. Now let's go to, so this add or update. Let's make this correct. Okay, now let's go to the news repo, so I news repo, and now here it is task news, and now this get news, and this is int ID. Let's go to the news repo, control plus period. Let's hit on the enter key to implement the interface. Now, so var results is equal to await appdb context dot news dot where n lambda, so n dot id is equal to id coming in dot first or default async. Okay, so you check if result is not equal to now, then this is what you want to do. If result is not equal to now, then return results. Okay, else we can return, let's see, can I return not found? Here we need to return tags of this. Okay, so we want to return, so if this is found, okay, so this is what you want to do. So return now. Let's return now instead here. Okay, so now let's go to controller here and make a check. So you know this, we can just format it into this. So we can say if result is not equal to now, then return results. Okay, else return now. Very simple. You save this. Now we come to controller and check here first. Now here you're not going to get success, so you're going to say if result is equal to now. If result is equal to now, then return not found. Then we can say maybe news not found, else return okay with the news. Yeah, so here we can return news ID cannot be 0. Yeah, okay, so now we are done with this. With the report 2, everything is set now. So let's see. Now get news, you pass in this ID. Now this ID is supposed to be this big I and the D, because you know that's a parameter ID. So this is new service. And have you injected this? Let's see. If you have not, then we inject the new service. So new service, so we have it here. Can copy this and here, and paste this here. New service. Okay. So get new, then pass in the ID. Everything is set. Now let's run this and see what happens. Let's open inspect element here. Then we're going in for this network tab. Okay, so let's wait and see if we have any error here. Okay, so succeeded. Now we're going to refresh. Okay, so now you see that here it is now, right? So ID is now. So you see we haven't called any method here. Let's open this database and see we have ID as 5. So let's pass in /ID as 5. Now see what happened. Let's see the call that's going to make. Next we have 5 here. So it is called a news with an ID as 5. Now let's see if we're going to get that. So there's a 5. Now you see it has filled it. Now you have all the data here. You see you have everything, and as soon as it is done, you see we have the data here. Now let's see. So there is it's public. We have publication. We have sources now, title, image. We have writer ID. Now you see we have category ID, but we don't have category name. We have writer, don't have writer. We have writer ID, but we don't have writer. Right. So let's see. Now you have this image, and now let's see. So this image, this image is not available. Let's see. So let's open the localhost and see. Seven two five one 7251. Let's also try to run this again, because it seems like alright, let's see. Okay. Now you have the data here. Now you're about to check this category. Okay, so you're going to use the current one that we have in the category list here. But let's check something here first. Okay, so this image, it is not displaying. Alright, let's try to add a block here and see. So news block current, choose image. So let's add image. Choose image here and set it. Yeah, and maybe here you can choose another one. Okay, select writer, category, add news. So news added. Now let's click on home. You have four, so the fourth one, you have this current news here. Now what is the ID of this current news? If you refresh this, 8. So add news, then /8. Alright, so we have the image here. Okay, so we have the same image being displayed here. So we can now update this. Now in case I want to update this and say updated, what should happen? Now let's go there and check. So that's what we have to do here. Now iNews repo. So when it comes to the news repo, that is where you have to make the change here first. So let's see. So we're going to cut all this. We have status here, and we check if model is not equal to null. That is where you want to check here. So if model is not equal to null, meaning when this command has data, then this is for old one. Okay, so that is when it is being added already. It has been added already. Now see, if model is not equal to null, then we're going to make a check with the name and see if it is found. If it is found, then we're going to say news already added. Else we return status. Else we are going to add. Okay, so with this, we need to cut all this. Okay, so if model is not equal to null, then we are going to check. So if model dot id is greater than 0, it means we want to update. Else, then we're going to add. So you paste that here. So this is going to add a new. So adding new block. Then here is going to be updating old block. Okay. Alright, so we have this here. Now let's go there and update it. So we first have to make a search. So with this search, we can call this get news method. You can call this get news. You know, this get news returned news here. And even with this, we can include. So let's include so here category. So CMAS2 category. Let's also include, and here wmax2 w.writer. Okay, so let's include this. Now when it comes to this, so var results is equal to await, so get news, we pass in this model.id. Then we check if result is not equal to now. Okay, this is what I want to do. Else, then I want to set this status dot message is equal to results dot message. Okay, status message is equal to news not found. Okay, so status dot success is equal to false. Then return status. But in case it is not null, it means the ID or the news is found. If news is found, then let's populate the news and add. So populate news and update. So we're going to say results dot. So we're going to use category ID is equal to model.category ID. Results.writer ID is equal to model.writer ID. Then results dot title is equal to model.title. Results dot publication is equal to model.publication. Results dot is public is equal to model.is public. Results dot title image is equal to model.title image. Yeah, I think that's all. Let's check the model and see. News model. So title, publication, they created this already. So it's public. Then okay, source, we have URL. So we need source and URL. Yeah. So source and URL. Let's finish that. So results dot source is equal to model.source. Then results.url is equal to model.title.toLower.replace all spaces with dash, and also replace all question marks with dash. So when this is done, then you can say app view content or save changes async. Then you can say status.message is equal to news successfully updated. Then we set status.success is equal to true. Let's give an await keyword. Okay. When done, return status. Okay. Very simple thing. Okay. Now let's run this. So it is refreshing. Let's wait. We have an error here, so let's check the error. So we have error in fetching data. Let's see the call that's going to make. So it's making a call of 8 and nothing is found. The header is API news, and you have the ID of 8. Status code is 200. The method is get, but nothing is found. Preview response is now. Let's check again. So because here it is adding, let's see, because we've included categories and writer. So let's see. Now we go for news. So block, then model, okay, so let's check here and see. Now here we are grabbing the news ID, and that's giving us now. But let's see. Let's run with the Swagger UI and see what we can do here. So we're not having Swagger here, so you're going to use an API. So API/news, then ID of 8. Yeah, we have the data here. So we have the data as 8, so it means the API is working. And let's see. iNews, get news ID. Now in the table here, it's going to get writer 1. Now category ID is 3, writer is 2. So category ID 3 here, writer is 2. Okay. Now controller, we have get ID. Now iNews service get by ID, and I want to go to the new service, get ID. So get async API, passing the ID here. You read as news, then return. Okay, so block here, you call this new service, and that is a model here. So this middle you have writer ID and title, image, and etc. Okay, so let's mannequin and see what we have now. Alright, so let's see, let's try to remove this include. Yeah, so let's see. I was going to make a call to call a news with the ID of 8, and I think yeah, we have it here. We have data, so we have them here. But one advantage, or is it advantage, disadvantage here is, for now, as soon as you add an image, we have to make a change here. Let's see, 7. So this image, unless we we change the image, anytime I want to make an update, unless for now we change we update the image again. Okay, so let's see with the 8. So we have to, unless we change the image again here. So for now, let's see. Now let's say let's write updated. This also updated. Let's choose technology. Writer is this, and let's say this is research. Let's maintain the image here. Click on update, and let's see what happens. So you can see that image successfully was updated. Now let's see localhost 7125. instead, and let's open it and see whether the text has been updated or not. Now let's go to the next one. So not this, third one here, fourth one. You can see we have block updated and news block updated. You can see we did not update the image, so let's update the image here and see what we can do again. So with this image, I'm going to click on this and replace it. Let's use this, so update this. Now update this, and like I said, updated. Refresh. Fourth one. Like you see, we have the image here, right? So let's see. Here too, you have the image here displayed. So you can also update this image. So we see the update is done now. Maybe we're going to talk about maybe some ways to save these images. Okay, so we can add them manually. Now, okay, so this is not working. As soon as I add another one and refresh the page, let's try again and see. So I have one here. Let's update all to 5. Let's update the 5th one. So let's replace the image, replace this. So choose the image that you want. Update it. Maybe I've set to the middle. The next one, yeah, there's only one here. So let's update it. So update. So news updated. Okay, now let's see. So let's refresh this. So we have the image here. Now we have the second one, the fourth one. You see here, the image is also gone. Fourth one, the image is gone. Right. So we're going to talk about how to save the image here manually. Okay, we're going to talk about maybe that. But let's finish the update first. So now we are done with this. Now let's say, but if I want to update, you can see that with the update, I don't want to see this tab, this button as add new. I have to see updates, right? And maybe not add block, rather update block. So let's do that. So the block.razor, we go in there, and here where we have this is the add new. So with this button, let's cut this button, and now let's say if ID is greater than 0, then display this, else display this. So let's see, Control K and D. Now this is, let's put it in this line. So this submit, this is add new. When ID is greater than 0, it means update. So you can write here update, and instead of this plus, you can write OI dash, you can say circle arrow top. Yeah, you want to update that, and here going to be add new. We do the same thing to the header as well. So this is the header. Now you want to cut this, okay, and you say that if, so this one you want to use this if, and here you can also use the same if here. So let's use this at over here. Yeah, so this at, Control K and D. Let's format this one. Okay, now do the same thing to this one as well over here. Now we are saying that if ID is greater than 0, that is what you want to perform. So add this, then else add this. So if greater than 0, then here is an update block. So there's an update block. Okay, then here there's also going to be add block. So if ID is greater than 0, then update block, else add block. Okay, so we are done with this. Now let's see. So we have this else. Where from this else? Where from this else? Yeah, there's no. So let's go and clear that from this. Yeah, so we save this, and now let's see what we can do now. So let's see. Now let's run the application again. Now it is saving, so let's wait. Okay, now there's an add block, add news. Let's see, so ID of 8. Let's see what happens here. So we see as soon as we pass in the ID of 8, update block, and there's an update, right? So we can decide to set this, the color of this as outline danger also. So let's see, so update block, you can set it as danger update block, or you can set it as warning. Okay, all right, so that is it. Now let's see, the next one is here. I want to talk about that is a category. So now let's say we want to check first if ID is greater than 1. So if ID is greater than 0, and model is not equal to now, then set string this is equal to model dot writer dot name. Okay, else, so this we can specify this string right here, so it's equal to now first, and the same string cat is equal to now. So now here we are going to make a check. If id is greater than 0 and model is not equal to now, then set writer is equal to this. So writer is equal to this name, and category is equal to model dot category dot name. Okay, so let's bring this here, and we can now move these guys in here. Then we can set else set right equal to select writer, and cat is equal to select category. Yeah, I believe this makes sense. So we first initialize writer and category to now, then we check if model is not equal to now, it's not equal to 0, and it's not equal to now. So if id is greater than 0 and model is not equal to now, then we want to set the writer's name and the category name, else put this as a default. Okay, so let's set them to now here. Okay, now let's save this. Oh, so we have an error here. Now tst is supposed to be the tst, so or you can set this here as cat. Yeah, they set already. So save this and run this again. So let's wait what. Okay, so succeeded. Now let's see. Now it is fetching the data for us. So add block. Now let's see. So we have select writer, select category, right? Let's see. If you pass id as 8, that's what's going to happen here. So the id here is not now, it is 8. When you get the data, the model is not also now. So let's see, object reference not set to an instance. So here, when we go to the repo, let's go to iNews. We have the tier return news repo, return this result. Return okay the results that you have here. iNews repo, get news, news repo, get news. Okay, so dot include, so c max to c dot category. Let's check this and see. Now get this list. Let's get, we can also include the same thing here. Okay, or you're including category to this. Let's see. you have error here, line 66. Now we also have this field to grab, line 34, 174. So Blazor 174 and line 34 for new service. So new service 34. I'm going to remove this and we comment this. Okay, so ID, then API/news, then ID. Then read from this, we have this ID here. Alright, so let's add the writer as well. So dot include, then max_writer. Okay, now let's go and ignore JSON. So let's go to category here. Let's add JSON ignore, and also let's do the same thing to this, because you know when they start to run, you're going to see news having connection with writer. Writer has a list of news. News has a connection with writer. Writer has a connection with news. So it's a cyclical. So we just have to add this component to this attribute to stop that. Okay. Now let's run this and see. So we have here everything is okay. Alright, so you can see we have technology and we have multi-assignment here. Okay, and that is it. So the update is done. You can see we have update news, and we have this update news as a header. Yeah. Okay, so the next one that I want to talk about here is to display the top 10. Let's display top 10. When you go to the home, let's display top 10 news beneath here. So down here, top 10, and you can write the update news or current news or updated news or etc. Okay, so latest news. So let's go and do that. So we go to this news repo. So iNews repo, and that is this one. So let's grab this. Let's actually grab this one, and here let's use list of news and maybe top news. Okay, so here you're going to get 8, and let's see news repo. Let's minimize this and that, and implement interface. So here is going to be one result is equal to await appdb context dot news dot. So let's use order of descending. So order by descending, and now this order by descending, you're going to use date. Okay, so d max to d dot updated date. So the dates created, that's what we're going to use. Then we convert them to list. Yeah, list async. So let's see what we can do. So dots, let's say skip. So skip 0. Then let's take let's take 8. So when this method is called, we want to skip 0 and take 8. We want to take only 8, so top 8, okay, of this. So we say if if result is not equal to null, let's return result straight. So return results. Okay, let's go to the iNews, and that's going to be a task of list top. Copy this. Now let's go to the controller first. So as a news controller, and that's over here. And now with this is get to HTTP get, and the route here it is top. So top, and it is public async task, and that is the action result, and giving us a list of news, and this is top. So this return, okay, I wait news repo, news repo. Do you have news repo here? News repo dot top. Okay, so you have 1 2 3 1 2 3, and that's all. So you must have this. Okay, so you're going to return the top 8 by current date. Then when you come to the iNews repo, the same thing, list of top, then new service. You can grab this here, or you can grab this, and now bottom here, let's paste this, and this is top. So new slash top. That's all. Now let's go to the index. That's our home page. Now index, and let's call that method here. So we have list. You copy this, let's paste this once more, and now we write in top 8. So you copy this, and when this override method, you want to issue this. So top 8 is equal to await new service dot new service dot. You have top. Let's check the iNews. This is top. Save this. New service top. Now index. So new service dot top. We don't have any top here. Okay. Now we come back to the down here. So this is the row. Okay. Now this row down here, we can have another one, and this is going to be, or let's add another row. So div class, this is row, and we have, so inside this row let's have, so if top 8 is not equal to now, for each var top 8, or for each bar item in top 8, you want to create a div, and and the class as column auto, or we can set it as column md3. Then you have the closing. So this, you want to have a div let's close this. Now in here, this is a card. Okay, now in this card, let's have an image. So this image, we have source is equal to at item.title image. You can have a class of card image top. Then you can have an inline style of maybe width at 150 pixels and height at 100 pixels. Then you can now close this image peacefully. And you can have card title, that must be a div class, and that is a card title. And this title, we close it, and in here we display item dot title. Now the whole card you want to use, so href is equal to at item dot url. Then you paste this. So when you click on this top 8, it's going to navigate to the URL of that image, okay, or of that news. Now let's see the real thing. So it is now loading. Let's wait while it loads. Okay, so you see we have this here. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So let's set this first. Now with this, it is a row, and this row, so margin top is 5, and won't even set. Let's set h3 here, and we can write here as latest news. We can set class of this as test center, and margin bottom, let's set it as 2. So we have card, and this, let's have a div class card body, and this card body, let's have the title here. So let's save this and see. So the width and the height of this, you can set this to 200, 150. Let's see. So it is now reloading, so let's wait and see. Alright, so let's set here padding as 2, then we set width as 350 and height as 150. So let's save this. And alright, so okay, let's see. Alright, so you can see we did the latest news. Okay, so when I click on this, see what happens. Now you can see I have this news blog updated, right? That's the URL here. Now if I go back here, you can see we have, if I click on this, I have this top 5 customer relationship management. Now home, so there's the top 8. Now let's bold this at top news. Let's bold this here, and we can even take this image off, this border, you can take it off, but for now let's maintain the way it is. So here the latest news, we can have it as display 6, font weight as bold. We're going to bold this and increase the font size as well. So let's see. So okay, so we have it, latest news, and we have this set here. So let's see, let's create a footer also. So there's another one, the footer, and let's create also a class, and there's going to be a row, and here we're going to have div class, and it's going to be column MD12. So maybe you can have a div class here, and this will be card. So this card, you can set the card header here. Okay, so you can set div class as card header. And this card header could be Netcode-Hub news. Then you can set card body, and that's supposed to be in a div. So div class, and this is card body. So this card body, you can write anything else. So let's say we have paragraph, and this is a class, is tst center, and you can write follow us on. So here you can have break in it, break here. Then here you can have UL, and the class here is list group. This list group horizontal, and you have li, and the class here is list group item. Okay, so this list group item, you can write maybe Facebook, and let's see, one more, so Twitter, maybe Instagram, okay, so we save this, and you can even test the background here. So because we have the, let's see, this could be MT3. Okay, so we have this follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and etc. So that's the footer here that we can display. Alright, without using this tool, we can also, without using this list group, you can also use anything as well to do it. Okay, so this list group horizontal, and that is it. So test center, you can make it as test stats. So that's going to align here, this side. Okay, and now this netcode can cut this and cut the header from this. Now this here can be in the middle, so you can have a paragraph or H3. You can have a class as test center. And place this here. So this is going to be in the middle. So this will be here, and this will also be here. Let's see. So you can customize this the any way that you want. Okay, you can decide to add some logos to it. So you can see you have follow us on, you have Netcode-Hub, you have follow us on. Okay, and you can have a BG of this. So card BG. Let's say BG warning. It's also possible. Let's see. So just setting the BG of this. Okay, so that's the background color. You can set it to warning or any color that you want to use. So okay, so we have BG warning, and that's all. Okay. So we have this. Now we have the paginations and everything working nice for us. Okay, now the next thing left here is if I click on this, what should happen? Now watch here. If I click on this top 5, it must open the same page for me, but in this case it is not. So let's work on that. So here, if I click on this, what should happen? Now if you go to the page, if I click on this, I'm going for the URL of this. So as you can see from here, the URL. So I have to get a URL here. So at page, then slash URL. Very simple thing. Now let's go in there and set this as parameter, and that is public string URL, and it is get and set. So initially it is equal to string dot empty. Now let's see. Let's use the override method. Override. Then here let's use onParameter set async. And you want to perform if URL is not equal to now. That is where you want to perform await new service. So var result is equal to new service dot. Do you have new service injected? Yeah, new service. So let's copy this, count down here, new service, and cut this to new service dot, then get news by URL. Okay, then you pass in this URL. Very simple. Now here is going to be an async. So you can now cut this and see. So if result is not equal to now, then model dot add. You know, this model here is a list of news, and this is a single news coming in. So we add this result. But before we add this, we have to clear this. So model is equal to model.clear. So let's clear the data from the model, then we add it over here. So that is when model is not equal to now. So we clear this. Let's cut this. So paste this. Now save this. So if the results come in is not equal to now, then clear the model and I'll add this result to the model. Okay. Now get news by URL. Let's go and do that. So we go to the iService, and now let's paste this here. So it's just a single one. So copy this and now paste this. Cut this, paste it here, and now this is a string URL. Okay, so let's save this. Now let's go to iNews service and control plus period. Let's implement the interface. So this is the interface, and we can now grab this. So let's grab this here, or you can grab this and let's paste this here. So this is a URL, so you pass in URL. That's a very simple thing that you want to do. This is an async, so you set this as async, you save this, and that's all. Now let's go and see. So we go to the controller, news controller, and now it's a single one. So this, so you paste this here. Now let's copy the same thing else. Okay, let's cut this and you paste this here, you paste this here. This is not ID, it is rather string URL, and we pass in URL. So we first check if URL is not equal to now. That's going to perform this. So here it is URL that you want to pass in. Okay. So this is latest. Okay. So latest, then URL. Okay, so let's go to the new service, and instead of passing in here only this news, and this is latest slash URL. That's a route controller. So this is done. You can copy this, and let's go back to the iNews repo. So we need only this. So let's paste this first. Let's copy this from here, and we can paste this. Let's cut this, let's paste it, and this is string URL. Control K and D. Now let's copy this as well. News repo. We can now paste this, and let's copy this too. Let's paste this. Let's cut this, paste this here, and this is string URL. So get a news from where, and news.url. So news.url is equal to this URL. Okay. So here we don't want to include category and writer. No, we don't want to do that. So include only that and return. Very simple. Now let's run this and see. Okay, so field it is expecting this. Expected. So if it's not cutting now, then work on that. Try catch. Parameter set if it is not equal to, else. Alright, so why do you have this expected this index 113? Oh, let's see. So it needs this, it needs that over here. So this is this. Let me close all this and see. Let's see again. Let's build it again and see. Okay, so succeeded. And let's see. Okay, handled, error occurred. Now let's click on this and see. So you have this test, nothing found. Let's check the error here. So this is saying that it is not found. Let's check, let's trace. Now if you see it is here, that is line 32. So new service.get news by URL string, and if you check here, it is new service line 32, new service line 32, and that is this one. So we get by URL the test, then respond. So news controller latest URL here, we get by URL in this, return, go to repo, so news URL, news repo URL, so URL is equal to what is coming in here as URL. That's first or default, then return. Okay, so let's put this is a variable, so here is a parameter, so it must be in this format. It's a parameter, and the next thing that you want to do here is, let's see, now with this pagination, let's see if, let's make it in this way. So if ID, so if URL is not equal to now, so if URL is equal to now, then display this. this URL. If it's equal to null, then display this. But if it is not equal to null, it means we are going for one news. So a single news, you don't have to display the pagination, right? Now let's save this and see what's going to happen here. Okay, so you can see there's no pagination here because we have this one. But once I click on home, you can see we have the pagination here. Okay, that is a home. And let's say we have only single page. Number of pages 1. Let's try it and see. So news block, that's news block. There's no pagination. This one, there's no pagination. Top 5 customer, there's no pagination. Customer relational model, and there's no pagination. If I click on home, you have pagination here. Okay, so now we have pagination, that is a home over here. If I click on this, you have this news block, there's no pagination. News block updated. Okay, so now let's see. Alright, so click home, refresh this. You have click on this news block. You have this news block. You have this. You have that. If I click on home, it has to refresh this. So let's see what we can do. You see, so I'm page 2 now. Okay, so you see URL, then you have to set this to so once you have this, you have to set the skip value and the tick value. Okay, so when parameter is set, that's what we can do. When parameter here is set, let's override the skip value and the tick value. So skip value here, it is 0. Okay, now tick value is 1. So skip value is 0 and tick value is 1. Now let's see. Alright, so now we are here. Let's click on the home. Now that is the home, refresh it. Okay, now I have 1, 2, 3, and the latest news is customer relational model. You see we have over here top, we have it over as well. Now updated, we have it over here. Now if I click on home, you can see it has to reload, so let's set that. Let's go to this page, and that's going to be the shared project and navigation. So here we're going for top bar. Now there's the top bar, as you can see from here. Okay, now that is the home. Let's see which one that we clicked. We can click on this home or this icon. So here you can decide to take off this and now set it as at on click. Okay, so navigate to home. So we want to call this method on both home and this icon. So let's put it here, and let's set the style here as cursor equal to pointer. Then set the cursor as pointer. Now copy this method, and now down here let's set that method. So you can set as private async. Now here we don't need async, so private void task. And this is a method. So when it is clicked, let's inject navigation manager. Let's copy this, and we have void, there's no task, so navigation manager dot navigate to home. Now let's see it first. Alright, so let's see. Alright, now if I click on this, so add block, now home, I'm at home now. Now with this, on the new one, if I click on home, I'm at start page 1 here. So let's set this. The next one is, do you want to refresh, reload, force reload? We set this to true. So let's see. Okay, now loaded. Open this, the next one, open this as well. Now click on the home tab. You can see it is navigating to home. Then the whole page reloads again, because we have page 1 up to 4. Then that's the 4th page, the 3rd page. Now if I move on to this top 5, I have it over here. Now if I click on any of these, see what happens. Now I come back to the home page, and I'm just going to refresh and get as the pagination indicated here. Okay, so it means on is actually working. As for this, I'll leave it for you to decide or to design it yourself. Okay, and you can actually use logos by, when you install Font Awesome, you can have a Facebook icon, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and etc. You can add all of these. You can design them as over here. Okay, now you have categories here. So if I click on health, I have to get the category related to this. So let's see that. Now first of all, you have the URL here. There's a URL. Okay, so the categories, let's see what we can do here. Now in the same index, let's set the routing. So you can copy this, we paste this here, and now here we pass as category, and you can write category name. Okay, so category name. Now let's copy this, let's set it as a parameter. So copy this, and here category name. Now don't worry about the caps here. It doesn't it's case insensitive, so it's gonna work. As far as it is this, it's gonna work. Okay, so category name. So we save this, and now we check. So we check here. So let's close this. Now we check if category is not equal to null, then call this method. So here is a model. So model is equal to await new service dot get news by category, then pass in this category name. Okay, so there's a category name. So you need to create a method known as category here. So let's copy this and let's go to iNewService. Can paste this here, and now you want to grab a list. So let's copy this, paste this, cut this, paste it. Then it is what? Category name. So we can cut this, or let's copy this, and here is going to be string. Control D. Okay, now let's go to the new service, and now we can paste this here, and let's copy this. Let's make a copy and paste, then cut this, paste this here, cut this, then string, paste this here. Then we get list. So from category, news, and the category, then pass in this category name. Okay, set here to be as a parameter, then get a list of news. So we are done. Alright, so now we have this. We can actually go to the controller and category by get news by category, and the route is API news and the category. So news controller, let's paste this. Let's go for get news, a list, copy this and paste this here. Let's cut this, paste this here, and that is string category name, and here it is category. That is the route. So you can now copy this and paste it here and pass in the category name. Yes. So we need to now create this. Now let's go to the iNews repo, and since this is a list, we can grab the same thing over here, paste this, let's cut this, paste it here, and it goes in with category name. So we can grab this, save that, go to the news repo. Now where we have list, we can paste this, then let's grab this here, paste this, then let's cut this and paste this, and this is coming in with string category name. Okay, so we search, we get all news here, and we don't want this. We get all news, where then news marks to news dot category, okay, dot name, category name dot to lowercase dot equals to this category name here dot to lowercase. Then with this dot to list async, because we want to grab all news that have the same category name. Then you want to just return. Okay, so get news where category dot name dot lowercase is equal to this category coming in dot lower, and that's all. Okay, now let's go to our block.razor, and that's what we have specified it here when parameter changes. So that's the index.razor. We set it to, now you know this model here is a list of news, so when the list comes in here, it's going to be held by this model. Now this model is what we loop through over here, so you only have 3, it's going to loop through over here with escape and tick, and it's going to perform the pagination as well. So let's save this, let's run our project and see. But before that, let's see the number of category that we have here. So if I close this, now let's refresh. Category ID is here is 111, and that is 3. So category ID 3 is only 1 news. Category ID 1 has 3 news. Let's see category table. So ID 1, that is health, and 3. So health has 3 tables or 3 news, and 3, that is technology, has 1. Let's try that and see. So when we click on health, we're supposed to have 3 paginations. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see what is causing there. So category, invite template, category name missing. Okay, so where is the forward slash? There must be a forward slash here. Now let's wait while it gets refreshed. I think for now there won't be any problem anymore, and it's going to work perfectly for us. Okay, so we are here now. That is this working. Now let's see categories. So if I click on this category, now lifestyle, nothing happens here. Okay, so nothing happens. Now let's see category health. Do you have any issue as well? So health 404, health not found. Oh, and here is latest rather. Let's check the news controller. So that is the category. And when we check the news service, it is news category, API news category, and the category name. Okay. Now controller 2, it is category and category name. So how come this is giving us different things together? Let's try one more, technology. Now, so let's run this application again. Yeah, I can remember the reason why we are having this. Let's try one more and see if so. Then we check what I'm suggesting. So let's see technology, and we have 404, and that is the latest, because when we check the source, that is where we have the index. No, that is when we check the top bar, you can see instead of passing the link, now if you check here where we list all categories here, now we set the reference to this. Now this reference, when it comes to the index, you can see it's coming as a URL, and this is a category, so we have to navigate this. So in order to solve that, this is what we can do. Let's pass this as the index page, category, then the item.name. Let's try that and see. So let's close this, and let's see if this is going to work. Okay. Now this is there. Now let's see categories health, and let's see so click here, then health. Let's see health. What are you going to get? Health, we need to get 3 news. So preview, that's error here. Response to is error. Let's see. So news category, then health. Alright, so I think there's a problem in the API. Now let's see. So we have the route category, but there is no parameter set. So this is a category parameter. Let's say this, this is string category name. I think everything is solved now. Let's see. Now health, so it is loading and you're going to pass in. Now you can see with health we have data 3 news related to health. Let's see. Now you can see we have it over here. So that's the first one. We have second and the last one around here. Yeah, that's the last one. Okay, so it is working. Now let's see. So refresh this. Now it is health. So we are expecting to see 3 news. Okay, so preview, because you have 0, that's the one ID, 5, 6, and 7. These are all health. Okay, so these are all related to health. Yeah, and you can see here we have the link 1, 2, 3. Now let's see lifestyle. Lifestyle is now nothing is found here. Then technology, that is 1. Which is 1 here, that is technology. Health, we have 3. The third one here, and we can still navigate to top 5, and you can see we have it here. Now if we go back to categories health, we still have the same health. We can navigate to the health. Yeah, so it is actually, this is also working perfectly. Our category is also configured and it is now working. Now what we have to do next is search. How do you search? Then I think this is going to be the end for, yeah, how do you search? So search, you pass in the text and you're going to search if it is found in the title. Then we convert it to list, return the results here. So you can just move it one after the other. Okay, now let's go and do it. So we have this button. Let's go to the, that is the top bar.razor. Now the top bar.razor, we have our search button here. Now with the bind value, we want to use a search text here. Okay, and this is supposed to be a string search text. Now this is equal to string dot empty. Yeah, that is the search text. Now this button, instead of having the submit, let's take off the submit. Now this button, then you can see we have at on click is equal to, then handle search. Okay, so handle search. Now let's copy this. Now let's come here. So this is handle search. Now this, it is, let's make it as void. Now let's use this navigation manager. So dot navigate to, let's set it as home. Okay, then let's search to search, then let's use news.search. So news, then search slash, then let's use this search test. Let's paste this. Now use this to turn that as a variable. Very simple. So it is coming to the home page, news, and a search. Now let's see. This is the index home page. So it's coming to news, then a search, and then the search test. So here, this is what you're going to do. You copy this. Let's paste this here. Now home page, we have news, then we have search, and then we have search test. So you paste this here. So let's go back to the toolbar, copy this, and come here and paste this here. Index, paste this here. Okay. Now when it comes here, we have to set a variable for this as a parameter. So let's set a parameter here. You can paste this, and let's copy this here, paste this, cut this, and paste it. Okay, so if we check, this is what we can do. So we can cut this, then we can say if search test is not equal to null, that is where we want to call this. Okay, so if this search test is not equal to null, that's why we want to call this method. Okay, now when it comes to this index, this search test 2, we are saying that now if I actually copy this, there's spaces here. So if search test with the same search test here is not equal to null, then we want to get in there. So get news by search, or we can make it as search news. Okay, then you pass in this search test. So this search test, let's pass in here. Alright, so I think this is very simple and easier than the first one. So let's see. Now this is our page. Now let's see if it loads. Now the ISF does not contain definition. Yeah, we know. So come to the index. You can comment this. Then we can load this again. So now let's see. Let's close all this. Okay, so now loaded, and let's see. So if I click on, if I click on maybe SA, now let's see, I'll just press on this search. So this is search, and you can see this search, nothing happened because it is null, right? It is null here. So let's first check from the search bar here. Handle search is not equal to null. If search test is not equal to empty, that's going to perform that. Now let's see. So we are the home page. Now if I click on this button, see, nothing happens. Okay, because it is null. So if I click on this, it is empty, nothing happens. But as soon as I pass in something, I click on this search, you can see it navigates to new search, then pass in the specific what text. So that is what you want to do, you want to get, and that is this. So let's try that. Let's try that and see here. Now we have this search, so we come back to the index. We have this search text here, and we are going to call this method. So search news by search text. We go for the iNews, save it, and now let's paste this here. We can actually copy this and now paste it down there, cut this, paste it here, and this is search text. Okay, Control K and D. Now we can grab this, go to the new service, and now here let's paste this. Let's grab this, paste this here, cut this, paste it, and here it is search text. This is search text. Then pass in search text. So here is going to be news, and this is search, and now this search text. Very simple. Let's go to the controller. Now this is search news. So controller, let's paste this here. Let's copy this with the route, and let's paste this. So here that is search. Let's cut this, that is the name here, and also, and now here it is search text. Then this search text, you paste it here, let's wait. Okay, so paste this here and paste that here. So search, and this is a route, and this is a parameter. We pass the parameter here, and now we get a method from this news repo. So let's copy this news repo. Let's go to the iNews repo, and now we can also paste this. Can grab a copy of this, and we can paste it. Let's cut, paste this here, and that is search text. Now let's grab this, save, go to news repo, and in the news repo let's paste this. Let's copy this, paste it here, and now let's grab the method, paste the method here, and this is search text. So here we are saying that where end dot, so instead of this category we are going to use end dot title. Okay, dot to lower contains, so contains this search text dot to lower. Then we convert all to what? A list. So to lower, convert all of this to list. So if the search text is found in the page title, then you want to grab it and add it and convert them to a list and return. Very simple thing that we are doing here. So let's see. Now let's run this and see. So when we go to a database, let's search for a common text so we can find, or we can make a search out of it. Now if I click on news, let's see the title. And expand the title here, and let's see, let's copy this word update and paste it here, update, and paste it here, update, and maybe paste it here. So leave it, let's make it as 3, right, to changes, and it is okay now. So each has a word as update, and maybe you can have news as well. So let's say we have news here, and we have news in this. We have news here too. Okay, so write changes and refresh. Now our page is now ready. So we have error here. Let's try and find out this error. Okay, so it is calling a method, and now this method is API new search, and so this method is not found. Alright, so that's why you have this unhandled error. Let's see, let's first search for a method which is found here, like an update or news. Now if I click on search, let's see, so I have this news here. Now preview, I have these two lists, so I must get two paginations. So let's close this. So page 1 and 2, so I have page 1 and 2. Now that is the first news here because news is found, and that is the second news. News is also found here. Okay, let's see, updated, and if I click on search, so updated, you can see I have an updated one here. Now if I go to 1, you see I have the same thing updated. If I go to 3, I have updated here. If I click on A and hit on the search key, I have all the 4 because each contains the text or the key as 8 or A. Okay, so you can see everything is working perfectly. But what in case if I type in something else, search, nothing happens here, right? So nothing happens. So there's no news here. Okay, good. And yeah, that is it. So there's no news. And AS, is there any news for AS? No news. Is there any for S? Now the title contains S. Yes, it contains, so we have all contains S. Okay, so R. So if I talk about relationship, relations, so if I type in relations, I have none, so I have 2 relations. So let's say if you want to use .contain search, so title contains search, if so then convert it to list and now return, right? Now what about if I type in relations here? Let me see. Now if I type in search, let's see, let me add relations, search, I have relations 1, 2, but I am not seeing any of this unless I go back before I can see this. Let's say, so the second p 2 out of 2, then let's say relationship. Okay, I have this relationship, and that is it. If I type in news, I have this news. Okay, so maybe this is what I will do here. So in case I do that, when I come to the index, before I set this, I can clear model first, model.clear, model.clear. Let's see, so model.clear. Now let's save this. Now let's refresh here and see. Okay, so I have news here, and that is 1 and 2. I'm gonna type in relations, hit on the search, I have this for relations. That's the point 2 here, page 2. Okay, now if I type in A here, search, and I'm at the same point 2, so let's see what we can do here. So skip, and that happened. Skip 0 and take 1. So let's decide to minimize this. So search. Now save this. Now let's see. I want us to get to the 1. So now take the first one. So take the first one. Now if I pass in, before that, let me click on the second one, point 2. Now let me type in A. So search for A. Okay. So go to 4. Now search for update. Now with the update, we have 1. Then we have 2. Let's see what will happen here next. So with this, let's wait and see. It loads from the default, then type in update. So search for update, and that is it. And we have 1, then 2, and 3. So let's search for relations, and we have only this, and it's supposed to be 1 here. So skip value 0 and take 1. Let's comment this and see. Okay, so let's clear this. Let's see. So I think this will work perfectly for us. Okay, so you can see that we are almost done. Now with that button as disabled, we can go ahead and clear that disable button from it. So that is over here. This is the disable button. You can clear this because we don't need that button. Yeah, so relations, we have 2 pages, the first one and the second one, and that's all. So if I go to home, okay, so we have this. Now this is what you are going to do. We want to set up a comment section. Write your comment to this beneath this. Okay, so each, let's create a div. That is the index page. So when it loops through it, to create a div here. And let's go ahead and use this model, this search model, and make it as comment model. So this is comment model. So it is now renaming, so let's wait whilst it renames. Okay, so I want us to move this to this model because we actually need this here. Yeah, so move in. Okay, now let's go to that's the model. So I want us to rename this as comment. So comment, not comment. Comment. So this is what we need. Now this, we need an ID. So there's an ID, and we need news ID. So this is also int, and that is news ID. Then we need message, and we need string name, then we need string email. Okay, so string ID, news ID, then name, and what, email. So with this, we don't want to put this, we want to create any relationship here. Okay, so we just have to join this. So let's copy this, that's a comment, and you can now okay, now let's go to the AppDB context here. Then here we can just copy one of these. Then let's paste this. Let's cut this, paste it here, and add s. So as comments. Now let's perform migration, but before that, since you have this comment here, this is what you want to do. Let's go to the index. Now with the index, when you have this here, right, this is the latest news. Now there is the row whereby you're going to have individual news here. So for each, we have this is a card. Okay, now this card, this is a card body, and this is a card ending. So card ending, we can have another card here. So let's say this card BG, or margin bottom supposed to be 3. Let's have a div class. There's also a card. Then you can close this card here. We have card header. This card header, and we can name this as comment. So this write your comment. You can close this one. Maybe this could be h3, whereby this class is going to be tests muted. That is write a comment. So here you have card body. So this is card body. Okay, So now we need an edit form. So this is what we're going to do. Let's go to block.razor and now grab the edit form there. So we need, let's go to block.razor. We have this nice edit form. Okay, so we can grab this annotations, and now in the index.razor here, edit form, then you can paste this here. This can be on one line. Okay, now let's see, you can go in for this, then index, you can paste this here, Control K and D, format this well. Now this is, so first of all, let's create a comment. So equal to new. Now this is, so we need edit form. The model here is comment, and on valid submit, it's going to handle comments. So you copy this, and now here we can now write handle comment. So private async task handle comment, save it. So you copy this. Now first of all, you're going to create an input. Input number, and this number at bind value is equal to comment dot news ID. Okay, so this is comment.news ID, but this time around you don't want this news ID here. You rather want to have item.news ID. So item dot ID. So that's a news ID, and you can have class here. As form control D none. So that is a display and none. So input number bind value is equal to item.id. Then we have comment dot name. So comment dot name, comment dot name, and now you can actually copy this comment dot name. Then let's delete this, save this. Okay, now let's see. So it is saying that, all right, I want to have name, and so this is what we're going to do. This is name, this is a div group class, so let's cut this. Now let's create a div, and the class is row, Now let's create a div and the class. And the class is column md6. So here we have the first one, then we're gonna have the next one. So this is name, and this is email. So that is name and that is email. So you know, with the comment class, you want to set this as news ID. We're gonna provide it. So here this is required, and this also required, this required, and there is even email address. This is required too. Okay, and now with this string length, so here maximum is 1000 and minimum length is 6. Same thing applies to, let's copy this with the name. Okay, so name is okay. Now message is okay. So here minimum is 6 and maximum is 1000. So this is okay. Now you go back to the index. Here you have an email. Now you have name, you have news ID already, you have name, you have email. Okay, then I go for message. So this message, let's add just a test area. So the next one, we can actually grab this. Then where we have the row ending, we can paste this here. And there's going to be a message. There's a comment. The comment dot message and dot message. Okay, so here it is message. Then we have a button to submit. So this is just a button. So this is button here. Class btn success. This outline success. Okay, and now this is submit. So we have this, that's a class here, and we have the type is submit. Type is submit, and the text here is what? Submit. Okay, now let's see if we have a nice one here. So we're going to divide into two. We have a message, and now this message you need a text area. So this is test area, input test area, ID message, then bind value. Okay, so you can see, you write your comment, you can write your comment here and submit. Alright, so that is it. So write your comments. So you can have it on top here. Do you have any suggestion? Then you can write your comment here, as simple as that. Okay. To edit form, you have card, and that is this one. So you have H3. So any comment, then you can have test center. So class here gonna be test center, and that is test muted 2. So any comment, then you can see we have your comment here, then click on the submit to send it. So you can send this button here as to this side. Now if we move to the next one, you can see we have it against each of this. So you can write this comment against each. So you can see we have your name and your email address. So this button, let's set this to float end. Now this comment, and with this, let's say placeholder, here, and write something. Now here, let's see, here is the name. This is name, and do we have, this is email. So this is email address, and now here I think you can have title, then in case you need to reply. Okay, now this is optional, so you can specify this here as optional. So with the comment section here, the email address, it is not required, it is optional here. So you see we have write something. Now when the button is clicked, so when this button is clicked, so here we are using this value as item. So this is what you want to do first. So let's see, news ID first. So this is the news ID. ID is going to be here. Alright, so now with the news ID, we can decide to set it up here. So we have news ID equal to, we create an item ID as news, we create a variable as news ID, we set the current item ID here, then we set the object here, comment news ID equal to this news ID. Okay, alright, so everything is set now. Now when this is clicked, we want to display, so we want to display message here. Let's set the string message, string message is equal to string dot empty. Okay, now with this message, or let's use, can we use JS runtime? Let's see. This is what you want to do first, so let's handle this. Now var response is equal to await new service dot send comments. Then we pass in this comment. Then we can now use, so let's invoke IJS runtime on top here. So at inject IJS runtime, then I can say JS. So let's come down here, and this is what you want to do. So let's set await JS dot invoke void async. Now this is alert, and there is a message. So with the message, response dot let's use this message coming out. That's all. So we want to display this, so alert, then response of this message coming out from this. Very simple. Okay, so let's see, let's copy this, and let's send comment. So let's go to iNewService, and now we need an example of this. So let's paste this and copy this, and here paste this, cut this and paste it here. So it is coming in with a status, right? Okay, now so here it is comment, this is comment, and going for model. So send comment, let's copy this, let's go to news controller, and let's paste this here. So let's grab this add, let's grab this, we paste it here, and now this is post. So send comment, send comment, since it is required, or we can decide to comment model is empty, you can decide to send that as well, but we have it already, so don't worry. By this add slash comment, that is a route. So add slash comment, then there's a send comment here. So add slash comment, let's go to the news service, then where we have comment, so add okay, so let's paste this here. Now let's go and copy this, come here and paste it, cut this, paste it here, and this is comment, and that is the model. Now post add slash comment and add this model. So come out to the status. That's all. Now you have the controller is also set. Now I need repo, we can now paste this comment. Let's grab this, let's put it here, cut the comment, paste it here, and this is comment, and with model. Save this, go to news repo. Now here we need to grab this, and now let's come down here, let's paste it here. This time around we're not going to update this, so we're going to clear this if. Okay, so you clear this, and this else too, we have to take this else out. Yeah. Now iNews, send comment, copy this, come to news repo, paste this, and this is comment. So we first check if model is empty. If model is not equal to empty, then you want to check if it exists already. So comment okay, so we want to check because you can comment more than one on a specific block, right? So you want to check if the comment that you have commented already is not equal to the current one. So appdb.comment where comment dot name or title. So comment dot message to lowercase dot equal to model dot message model dot message dot lowercase. So dot first or default. So we are checking if that comment doesn't exist. You know, when you come here, we have comment, news ID, name, email, and message. So all this, one person can comment more than one time in a single blog, right? Or single message, single information. Now, if we check it as a name, if the name is not already, it means we allow user to comment once, but that's not the case. You want the user to comment multiple times as far as the first one does not correspond to the ones commented already. So we can use the message to check if they are not the same or it's not equal to, then we want to allow the person to do it. And that's exactly what we are doing under the news repo. So you say that if the message is not equal to the message coming in, then if message is not equal to now, then we say comment already added. So already created. Then else comment dot add model. Okay, then that's all. So this model status is success, then comment successfully added successfully. Yeah. Else comment object is empty. That's very simple thing. So what all you need to do here is you need to perform database migration. But before that, let's build our project first. So build solution to see if there's any error in it. Yeah, so cannot convert model to news. Let's say that. So here must be comment. Let's build it once more. So rebuild. So let's wait while it builds. Alright, so before we perform migration, let's try to cut this. Now set this into a row, and you see we have a div class row here. and there is column MD6. So you want to display the text or the comment. So we have this first row, and let's have another row here. So div class, this column MD6, and there's another row. So here let's have this UL and added list, then this is class. So you want to display the list, the chat, or that is a comment. So list group, and let's use at. So if comments is not equal to now, then loop through it for each var item in comments, then li class. Here is going to be list group item, so this list group item, and we want to display the comment. Okay, so let's create a div for, and there is a class, and this is card. So this is div, and this is class, this card header, so with card header this is a card header. So with card header you want to display name and email, right? So you can create table here, then you can create table row, then you can create table data 1. So table data 1 here, and you're going to name it as item dot name. Then you can have space here, so NBSP, then you can have another TD here, and that's going to be at item dot email, so that's the card header. Now when we come to the body, now when you come to, that is a div class, and that is card body, you want to display the message. So display the message here, so at item dot message. So loop through that item and now grab all the message in it and display into the card body. Yeah, so here we are going to get, alright, so let's create a method to get comments related to a particular or a specific this block. Okay, I want us to create a relationship instead. Okay, so here with the comments, let's add a relationship here. We have the news ID already. As you can see, there's a news ID. So let's see, let's create others. Then here going to be a list of news, and this will be news. So it means one news may have a multiple comments. Okay, so that's it. There's one too many. Let's set this as nullable, and we have news ID here. So let's set this. Since we have this news ID, then you can set here as news, and you can now grab this and put it here. So when we are filling news here, as you can see, we can pass in this news ID in the comment section. Now when we go to the news, so that is the news, and here we can also create the same thing as well, but this time around let's see what we can do. So this is comment, and this is comment. Okay, so now we have this. Let's perform migration and see what we can do. Alright, so let's see with the news. Here's supposed to be list. Forgot, there's the list. Yeah, list of comments, and this is going to be comments. Okay, so I think this is going to work for us. Now let's build this and I'll perform migration and see. So we build this. Okay, so let's add migration. Update comment table. Okay, so let's update database. So update dash database. Let's build this first. Let's update it. Okay, so we are done now. Now when we go to the comment section, if we refresh the comment section, we have news ID over here. So this is the news ID. Okay, now when you go to the news, let's refresh this and see. Yeah, so we have the connection, we have the relationship created. Okay, so now let's go to get all comments. So that is what maybe we can do in the let's see. So when we go to the news repo, where we have get all news, so this get news by ID, and this is get all news. So this get news we can include. So let's include. So dot news dot include. Now this is comments, so C max 2 C dot comment dot to list, and with this we can also include it here. That is getting a specific news. You can get it over here. Now get news by ID or by URL, you can get it, and here let's see category, get news by category. Okay, so for now let's use the get news by ID. Okay, now if we check here, let's add get news. So we add a comment to the list. Now when you come to the index, you can see we have model, and this model get the whole list, and then we've added the news table. So when looping through, and when we get here, let's see, now this is looping through to get the specific data related to this item. Okay, now after this has finished, we can also loop through this item and get a list of the comments here. So where to display this comment, so let's loop through. So var in items dot, then you have comment, alright, so we are looping through this to get this comment here. Now let's save this and see. Alright, so before we run that, let's add this in order to stop this cyclical movement going up and down, running the task to this comment section and to the new session. Let's add JSON ignore, so there won't be any cyclic movement. Okay, so let's run this and let's see. Okay, so we have there is the data here. Okay, so you can see we have the comment. Now these are sample comment that we have. Now let's go to the next one, and you can see we have also, this is the comment that we have for these two. The third one, you can see we have the same comment here, and the fourth one, there's no comment, right? So let's see if we can write comment here. So now if I click on submit, let's see, so that is news block updated. Now let's check, refresh this, and news block, that is the 8. So this is 8. Now let's check the comment section, comment table, and see we have 8 here. So that is 8. Okay, so let's refresh. The last one. Okay, so you can see we have hello nice work. But in order to now let's see if I decide to add one more, so add one more, let's see what happens. I click on this and comment added, but I don't see it here. Okay, I don't see it here unless I refresh this before I can see this. So how do I, or how can we update it? As soon as we click on add, we call that method. So let's see. So this is what you're going to do. Now we have to call this model, because it is getting a whole list. So you have to call this model. So you can cut this, and now down here we can just call private async task. Then you can write get news, or you can write get all news data. Then you can model is equal to get new service dot get. So let's call this method. As soon as this adds, so let's call await keyword, then call this method, and at the same thing let's call it here. So await get data, let's call this as well. Now let's try and see if we update it, what will happen. So let's wait and see what it refreshes. Okay, so now loaded. let's try and say, so I'm going to pass in test. So this is testing. Now submit. Unless you could say it has now added. Okay, but what we want to do here is let's set this as an overflow. So let's scroll, because we see it's going to add as soon as we start adding. It's going to add it. We don't want that one to happen. So we go to the index here, and this overflow, we set this to scroll. But let's set overflow X. So overflow X. So this auto. Now we save this. Now let's see. Okay, so we have this here. Okay, but what we want to do here, let's set the width of this. So let's set the width, and you want the width or not the height. Let's set the height to be 200 pixels, and let's see. Yeah, so we have this, but let's set it 400 because we want times 2 of this. So let's see if 400 is going to work perfectly for us. Okay, so let's see. All right, so we have this, and that is a test. So any comment, you write a comment here, it get displayed here. Now let's see 2. Now as soon as I decide to pass in, let's see what happens. So testing. Now submit. Okay, so you can see I have it here. It's been added as well, as you can see. Okay, the same thing now. When you go to the fourth one, you can add comments. The same. When you decide to add comment already created, so you need to change it. So you can decide to add more and submit. Added, and like you see, you have it over here. So you see, you have the name, you have your email, and you have this. All right. So we have the latest news. We have that is our footer, and that is our content here. Now what left here it is. We can have a sidebar as well. So a sidebar could be here, or it could be at this area. Now this sidebar, what it's going to do here is we're going to have maybe a list, a link to this test. It's not I click on this link, it is opens over here, or it scrolls it up and it opens. But for now you want to maintain this. Now you have our search, everything is working perfectly for us. Yeah, you can add, you can move it to categories, and you can do lifestyle and technology. Yeah, so let's see. So technology, do you have any tests? Let's see, do you have any okay, it seems you have problem here. Let's see. So let's go to, so what is happening here? Object reference was set to an instance, line 80, index line 80. So let's see, line 80, that is 80 this. So index line 80, so item dot comment. All right, so let's check that again and see what actually the problem is. Now when parameter changes, okay, so I want to get by URL. Now with this by URL, we have to include the, so let's include the comment. So news repo. Now get, we include the comment here. Let's copy this. So get news, we have included it over here. Now get URL, let's also include it. and by category too we can also include that, and by search let's also include. Okay, so send model, and this is a send, so we can now clear this because we don't need this. So we have this here to add the comments. Okay, now let's see, so you can now remove this, and that's a news repo. Now news controller tool, this is get, so we can also remove this from it because we have the send, and that's what we need. And let's see again, iNews repo, I have news service. Yeah, can remove this. Then iNews service, can also remove this. Okay, so let's save this and see what to happen. So it is now loading, so let's wait and see. Alright, so you can see health sector, we have all the same thing as well. If I go to lifestyle, you have nothing here. If I go to technology, I have, let's see with the technology, let's see if a call has been made. So here, so category, and that is a technology. Yeah, so we have it as well, and that is this one, and there is a comment. Okay, so guys, let's talk about managing block, that is deleting block. So how do you delete it? So let's see how we're going to make it. Let's create a component first and list all the components there, then we know what to do. So Solution Explorer, now pages, right click, and let's add a new component. So let's add now a new component here, and we're going to name it as manage. So, or maybe we can also use this fetch data. You know, I have a component here, right? So let's use this fetch data. So let's use this. Now let's clear all here, not this one, rather here. And now let's set the routes, and that's going to be manage block. So this manage block, let's inject iNews service, then call it as news service. Then here write our code. Now you go for news, so let's make it as list of news. Then we say model equal to new. Then let's use the page override, that is a lifecycle method. No, we want to use not parameter set, we want to use initialize async. So when page initializes, you want to model is equal to await new service dot get. So get all news here. Now this must be an async method, and now we're going to loop through this model. So let's copy this. Now here we're going to say if this is not equal to now, then loop through. So for each var item in model, you want to create, so the whole area here must be a div, and this is a class, must be row, and this must be a div class. This column md3. Okay, so this md3, this is what we want to do. Let's go to index. Now where we have, let's minimize all this to make it scanty, small one. So where we have the top 10, so where is our top 10? That's the latest. So let's grab this. Let's go to fetch data, and now let's paste this here. So before we paste that, we're going to loop through. So this is going to be row. We cut this. So we're going to move this in here. Okay, and for each var item in model, we paste in this. Control K and D, we rearrange it. So we have the image and we have the title over here. We have the URL here. Okay. Now, in case, let's have buttons here. So we have buttons under this. So you can see we have column MD3. So we have 2, so you can take off 1. Okay, so this is card, and there is a card title, card body, right? So card body, we can have, you can add card footer, and now with this card footer, we're gonna have 2 buttons. So buttons, and there's a class, so btn can have danger, and let's make this as outline danger. That is a class. Now here we have at on click, this is handle delete. So this method, you want to pass in item.id. Okay, item.id and item.name. So you can add title as well. So you call this method. Then the next thing that we can do here is you can close this button. Okay, so let's call the button here. So this is going to be private async task, and it is handle delete. We have int id and string title. So this is a callback. So let's see, you could a method point it up to this. Maybe you can use an async, and here you use an await keyword. So title, And let's inject IJS runtime and say JS. Now let's come down here. So we say bool confirm is equal to js.invoke async. So this is bool, then there is confirm. So here we specify this. So are you sure you want to delete blog with the title? Okay, then we can have this is a title. So you can pass in title here. Are you sure you want to delete this? So this must be an await keyword. So you say if confirm, meaning if it is true, then we call a method that is delete. So first of all, let's cut this and let's paste it here as a private async get news data, and this must be a task. So we call this method here when the page loads with an await keyword. And now when it is confirmed, we call the same method here. It's an await keyword, and we call a method to delete. So we say var response is equal to await news service dot delete news. Then you pass in ID. Now this response coming in here, we call this, so await JS dot invoke void async. Then in here there is an alert. So we are using a JavaScript, and we use response dot message. Okay, then we get this data. That is what we want to do. After that, call this data to get the whole data again. Now let's delete news by ID. So copy this. Let's go to iNews repo, and now here it is coming with a task. So this is task, and it's coming with a status, and this is delete news, and here is int ID. You save that. We go to new service, then you have public async task. This is coming with a status, and here it is delete news and int ID. So we call a method here, but here we're going to use the delete. So we call this, and here let's respond here with it. So this is going to be http client dot delete async, and we pass in news and then delete. Then the ID. So let's specify this as an ID here. Then we want to return the response here. Return the response. Let's go to the controller, and that is delete news. So we grab this and let's copy. Let's first paste this here. Let's copy this and let's paste this. Let's cut, delete, paste it here. Now this is coming in with an ID which is integer, and this is delete. So the verb here, it is delete. Now it is coming returning a status. So this status, delete news, coming in with int ID. So if ID is greater than 0, so if ID is greater than 0. Okay, so that is why I want to perform this. Return OK here, else return news not found, or news is empty, or news ID is empty, or news not specified. Okay, so news repo dot delete news, then pass in this ID. So you are going to repo, so iNews repo, then you're going to have a task of status, and the name is delete, and the parameter is ID. You go to the news repo implementation, and you can now grab this, paste this here, and this is not a list, it's a task, and it is returning a status. And that is delete news, and we need to specify int ID here. So let's clear this. Now we say, so let's see if you can get ID here. Oh, this is what you want to do. So result is equal to await appdb context dot news dot where nmax2 n dot id is equal to id dot first or default async. Now if result is not equal to null, if result is not equal to null, it means it is found. Then so if result is not equal to null, then appdb context dot news dot remove result, then await appdb context dot save changes async. So var new, or you can create var status is equal to new status, and we say status dot success is equal to true, status status.message is equal to news deleted successfully. And return status. Else, this is what you want to do. In case it isn't found, then this is false. News cannot be found. Then return it. Very simple thing that you want to do. Okay, so now you are done with this. Let's see. Let's go to the fetch data here. Now this is for delete. Let's see. Update and view. So we have one card here. Let's copy this. And here, instead of using, you can use btn. Let's use btn none. So btn none. So btn none, and let's use span, and the class is oi dash trash test danger. So we want to use this. Then let's have a space. So nbsp. Then this delete. This is going to be an update. So let's have the same span, and the class here is going to be oi. That's a circle, arrow, top, and update. Let's see, this is test info. This so test warning. There's an update, and here when the button is clicked, so at on click, so handle update. And I'll pass in the ID. So item.id. So if you want to update it, that is what you want to do. So this max 2, then pass in the ID. And here, let's copy this. So this is btn none as well. And this is handle update. So private. This is going to be void handle update and int ID. So let's inject navigation manager so we can navigate it. So inject navigation manager, and I want us to copy this to skip us typing all this, and let's set this to navigation manager. Now let's copy the object here, and now navigation manager dot navigate to block, then pass in the ID. Let's set here to make it as a variable, then close this. Yeah, now let's see the last one, that is a view. So let's copy this and paste this, and here, so this is I and this is test info, and that is handle view. So we need item dot URL. So handle view, let's grab this and let's paste this here. So let's grab the update one, let's paste this, let's cut this, paste it here, and here it is coming in with string URL. So you navigate to home, then you pass in the URL. That's all. Let's try this and see. Let's save this and run them. Okay, so this file is set and never used. Okay, so we can now clear this, and let's see. So we are going to navigate to fetch data. Okay, so let's go. Fetch data, and let's see what we're going to do. So we have error here. Okay, so that is a manage block. Okay, so you can see we have we have the delete over here. We have the delete and the view, but this guy here is missing. So if I click on this, it asks me, make sure you want to delete. There's the title, cancel. Then we are here. Wow, so let's try again and see. That is the fetch data as manage block. Now we have handle delete. So if I click on this, if confirm, so else, then return. Now let's see the buttons. There is BTN none, there is card footer, there is card body, and okay, so this must be here. Save this. Now let's run that and see. So with this, we are going to navigate to manage block. So you can see we have this, and if I click on delete, are you sure? Cancel. No, they shouldn't. Let's try again and see. So manage block, item.url. So there's a button, open button, closed. Handle delete, item ID and the title, and that is a danger space then we also have the same button over here, BTN none. On click handle update, and there's a class BTN none, arrow circle. Let's see, so this is OI dash arrow circle top, and this is OI dash I. Yeah, so let's see when it is clicked. So handle view, handle update, that is when this is clicked. So btn open and close. So manage block. So from this dash, so card, you have image over here, you have title, card body, this is a card body, this is a card itself, and card footer, and the footer. You can see we have button 1, we have button 2 with a span tag close, and you have button 3. Alright, so we have this, and let's see. So if I click on this, I have it over here. I can go back, click on this, that's the top 5, I have it here. Now I can still go back here, and the same thing applies to this. Also, update. Now you can see it is navigating to block, then passing the ID of 7, whereby it's going to fill the data. As you can see from here, I have the list here. I can go back, and the next one is delete. So are you sure you want to delete? No, still there. Now let's try to, let's push this to the middle and see. Let's set the font size here. So test font size as 3, as 2, so font size 2. Let's save that, and also test center. So test center as well. Now let's see. Okay, so there is too big, so you can make it as font size as 4 here, and 4. Save this, and now let's see. Okay, so let's go there and add block. So we are adding a sample one here, sample block. Then you're going to accept no image here, so add. So no title. Okay, so block title is here. Then we have this title image is required, so let's set an image. Let's choose image here. So add, and let's see. So added already. Now let's go to manage block. Okay, so we have it here. Now let's delete it and see. I actually want to delete this title. Yes, delete it, and you can see it is off. Alright, so there's an administration mode. There's an administration mode, a blogger mode. Here a user has no right to access this, so maybe there could be a login separate for this. So you can manage blocks here. Now let's add the link here. So let's add, so this is add link. So let's add to manage block, and let's set over here. So we go to the top bar, but first of all, let's set the title instead of fetch data is manage block. So manage block. Now remember that the route here, it is manage dash block. So that's the route. So when specifying, we make sure we specify exactly the name, not the file name that we are saving with. Okay, you can save the file name differently and specify the route name differently. So if you check here, this manage block. So this is what we need to specify. In order to make mistake, let's copy this. Let's go to the top bar, and we can add, let's paste this. Alright, so let's copy this. Let's copy one here, and let's paste this. Copy and paste, it's sweet. So let's copy this and manage block. So you're supposed to pass it here, manage block, and can make it as. The reason why we are saying manage block is with there, when you go to that component, you can edit, you can delete, you can view the block. So that's why we say manage. Okay. Alright, so we have it here. And when we refresh this, you're going to see manage block here. So you can add icons to this. You can decide to take out the icons, but for now, let's maintain this. Manage block is here. Alright, so it looks like everything is set now. Now what we can do here is maybe we can decide to set up a featured articles here, because the featured articles, you can decide to name the list here. So you can just go through whilst you read. Yeah, I think that would be nice. Yeah, so we have a latest news over here, and this side could also be, or we could also move this to this side. Then we may have a space here. But for now, I think here we can feature the article. So let's use that. And we go to the index. So index. And now when you check the index, you can see that. Let's minimize them so we can read the codes. Okay. So if you check here, you could see we have a row. Now that is a main, this is a row, and I think we have the closing somewhere. That's the ending of this. So that is a closing. So you have the row, and there is a closing. There is also another row, and that is the news. So that is this one, the latest news, and this. Okay, the pagination. So you want to call the featured item here, and if you check this, you can see we set this as, we have column MD2 on top here, and we have, this is 8. We also have 2 here. So we can make this as 3. We can make this 3. Then there's gonna be 6. When you save this, let's see what happens. Or this is 2 and it's okay, and this must be 6. Now here being 3, so 6 here. Now 6 is very tiny, right? So 6 is very tiny. So let's make it like 7 or the 8. So 10, and this is 2. 2 here. Or we can what we can do here is we can decide to remove this. Okay, we can decide to remove this 2. Now make this 8, and here will be, so here is 8. Now we have 4 addition, so we have 2 here, and we can have 2 down here. So let's see. So for the arrangement, it depends on how you want it to be. So it depends on how you want it and what you want to do. Okay. So let's wait and see. So you're going to align this over here. So we have, there's the notes. Very beautiful. One side. You can see we have 2 sides here. So these 2 sides, let's see what we can do here. Let's set a featured item or featured text here. So in the first 2 here, this is the first 2. Maybe you can decide to create a featured item, but for now, let's maintain what we have here. Let's use the top 10. Okay, because you have that already. So let's use the top 10. So I'm going to grab that. And this is found here, top 10. So I'm going to copy this. And now here, the first 2 or the last 2. Anyone that you want, you can do it there. So let's set the last 2. And that is the top 10. Now this is top 8. Let's say there's a featured news. So in here you have title, image. By the weight is too big, so we can make it as 100 or 150 and 100. Now instead of this, we can list it in. So we have all this column empty here. We don't need any column, so you can decide to clear this off. Yeah, so we don't need this column. What we need is only the link here. So this link that we have, we don't actually need the card. Or do you actually need a card? Let's maintain the card here. So we have card, and we have a link here. So let's cut this. Now let's create list. Now this list, we're going to have a class here as list group. And let's see, li, so that's a list. So li. Now let's paste this in here. And see. Let's run this. So you can see we have a featured item, and you can just go through to see what we have. Alright, so this is a featured item here, and now with this you can set this. You can increase the size here. Maybe let's say if it's gonna be 200 or 220. Okay, so we see that well fixed. Now these are news that we can actually go through. Okay, and now you can set the height. Okay, you can set the height, and when it overlaps, you can just set it as an overflow, as scroll, so you can scroll through this. You can also make this as a static. Let's see. So we set this a list group and column MD here, so we can set this, the height of this, so you can set style here and can set the height as maybe 500 or 550 pixels. Now if you set the height to 550 pixels, it means this, as soon as it gets to the last end here, okay, depending on the text, it's going to scroll down. Okay, but for now you can maintain what you see here. So I set the height to 550, and that is the height here as well, but since I have only 4, that is why. So this is a featured news. We can also have maybe links, only links here, depending on what you want to do. So let's set only links there, but for now I'm going to clear this off. And now here, the same thing that I have here, that is the top 8. So you can also copy this, and now here, instead of displaying the image, you display only the text. Okay, and here's gonna be item dot title, and this is list. You can create a class as list group item action. Okay, and now with this, that is you will see this has a link here, so you can state the class here or the list class here, so class, or you can set the style and you say list style is none. Now the same thing applies to this. Let's see, style is equal to list style equals none. Save this. Now you can see we have the text displayed here. Yeah, so there's an action. Okay, there's an action, but I can decide to set this text decoration to none, and that is this list. So here you can set this style, and you can say text decoration. You can set this to none, and even with this list you can set margin bottom as well. So with each, margin bottom 2 and maybe padding 3. That's what's going to happen. Okay, so you see we have this, right? So that is you can see it has an icon. Now if I click on this, it's going to open here for me, top 5, because I have top 5. Customer, I have it over here, right? Because I have this over here. So with this, You can decide to set this inner one. You can set the height, and you can now set as overflow to be scroll or to be static, and etc. And you can set a title as well. Okay, so let's see. Now I'll move on to the next one. Now I have go to home, and I have this. I'm going to navigate to the second part, and you can see I have the same list. If I click on this, I am there. If I click on any of these, I still move to the next one. Okay, I think this is good, and it's actually going to help you a lot. Thank you for watching the whole video. This is a part 1 and part 2. Yeah, and I'm also grateful for being with you and programming together. Yeah. So if you like what I'm doing, just subscribe to the channel, also comment, share, and I'll leave a source code of this project under the description. So you can just go there, check, and click on it to download it. Thank you for watching, and the next project, maybe you can tell me what we can do, so I'll do it, then we all do it together. Thank you, and I'm going to catch you up in the next video.